Shalom Aleichem, a guten Erev Shabbos, it's Chol Hamoed, Sukkot Tavshin Pei Gimel. We're talking about Achdus, unity, because the entire idea of Sukkot, sitting in a Sukkah, Ruim Kol Yisrael Leishem Sukkah Echad, Sukkah Achas, is unity. We're all able to sit under one roof together. Ashkenazim, Sfardim, Litvaks, Hasidim, Chabadniks, which are part of Hasidim. Anyway, I heard a story this week that I want to share with you, which points out this idea of Achdus. There was a Lubavitcher Bocher, a Lubavitcher student, who had gone to Chabad yeshivas, and when he was about 19, 20, he was thinking of going to the Telz yeshiva. Now, the Telz yeshiva in Cleveland at that time was headed by Rabbi Mordechai Gifter, Harav Mordechai Gifter, Harav Agoin Mordechai Gifter, Rabbi Gifter, who wasn't known exactly to be a friend of Chabad's. Although in my book, Chabad and Telz, I really studied the relationship, and if you're interested in knowing an authentic, objective view of both, I urge you to read it. Anyway, so his father, who was a Rav, and his father knew Telz very well, took him to see Rabbi Gifter for a meeting, for an interview. He says, the person who told me this, the Bocher, the student, that he believes his father had written to the Rebbe, to our Rebbe, to ask him whether or not it's an accepted, should he allow his son to pursue leaving the Lubavitcher yeshiva and going to Telz. And the Rebbe answered, "B'mokim sheli bechofetz." So for those that think that the Lubavitcher Rebbe wasn't open-minded, here's a story contrary to that. And there are other stories with people that I personally know. B'mokim sheli bechofetz, where your heart desires to learn, that's where you should learn, is a klal, is a rule in the Talmud, in Torah, etc., and therefore the Rebbe would never contradict something of the Torah. He might make a suggestion this way or that way, but at the end of the day, b'mokim sheli bechofetz. Anyway, so the father decided, if that's the case, let's go meet and have an interview with Rabbi Gifter. He meets Rabbi Gifter, and the Bocher says to Rabbi Gifter, I'd like to learn in yeshiva. However, I'm a Lubavitcher and I learn Chassidus. How am I going to learn Chassidus in your yeshiva? Are you going to allow me to learn Chassidus? And Rabbi Gifter opened up his drawer and he took out a Tanya and he says, I am well versed in Tanya. I know Tanya. Again, I'm paraphrasing, maybe it's not the exact wording, but it's very close to it. I know Tanya. And I'll teach you Tanya. You want to learn Chassidus? No problem. I'll teach you Tanya. Gifter also said that he feels that this Bocher, because of his family background, belongs in Telz. Whatever the case, and they thanked him, and the father said to Rabbi Gifter, his son is still undecided, and let him know what the decision was. The decision was he did not choose to go to Telz. He stayed in Chabad. He's a Talmud Chacham and with a family, Baruch Hashem today, and everything else. But I heard the story, and I said to myself, aside from the Rebbe's perspective, aside from Rabbi Gifter's perspective, there wasn't this, me versus you. Rabbi Gifter wanted him in his yeshiva because he felt his family lineage was shaykhs more to the Lubavitcher world, to Telz, whatever. And he was a gewaltige Bach, he was a big Talmud Chacham, and he wanted to have such a... And he also told me that Rabbi Gifter told him at the end, I will give it to you in writing. I promise you, if you come learn by us, you'll be a gadol. We'll make you into a gadol, and I'll give it to you in writing. Rabbi Gifter said, you want to learn Chassidus? No problem. In other words, if you need a teacher in Chassidus, I'm willing to teach you Tanya. Now, you'll say Rabbi Gifter is a Litvisher, so he doesn't know Chassidus. He says, I learned Tanya, and I know Tanya, and I'll teach you Tanya. My point is, all of these differences and disagreements and arguments come from our subjective self, our selfish self, our ego. But when we talk about being pure and sincere in the spirit of Sukkot, of sitting together, you can learn in Telz and be a Lubavitcher, you can learn in Lubavitch and be a Telzer. Yeah, naturally, in each yeshiva there'll be pressure by the Bacher and peer pressure, as I discuss in this book that I mentioned, Chabad and Telz, wearing a beard, not wearing a beard, there's all kinds of issues, and a lot of it comes from the Bacherin. Sometimes Dan Hola also gets involved, and we discuss that. And from the Rebbe's perspective, the mokim shali bechofetz. So as we continue in the spirit of achdus, of unity, Rabbi say, let us join together, hold hands in a way that I always repeat what the Rebbe, I heard myself from the Rebbe the Fabringen. Chilukei deis is good. A difference of opinions is good. Machloikis, argumentation and divisiveness, das is not good. That's no good. Have a great Erev Shabbos and a great Yom Tov. And next week, of course, is Shmini Atzeres and Simchas Torah. And the Rebbe Rashab says, whoever will dance those 48 hours, and with clapping and dancing and singing, whatever you could do, and feel the simcha, it's a gula for parnosa, and for all the brachas. May Hashem help. We'll be zeicha to only brachas, begoli with good health and happiness, and be zeicha to be as Mashiach Tzedkeinu b'korev mamish, b'Yerushalayim Mir HaKodesh, good Yom Tov, and good Yom Tov l'chaim.